everybody, welcome to my channel and another art journal tutorial. This one's called Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. I am a brand ambassador for the Crafters Workshop. I love their products, and you can shop through my affiliate links below for the products you see in this video and stencils you see in others. So I am using yellow green, light blue permanent, and turquoise paint. And I'm going on the raw page of my 7x10 Canson Mixed Media Art Journal. I'm mixing the paint wet on wet. I know these colors are going to play really nice together. They're going to make different shades when I mix them wet on wet. I'm going a little fast because the paper's raw. It is soaking in a little bit and drying rather quickly. So I'm keeping the sponge wet. I'm moving quickly, not as quick as what the video looks like. And I started with the yellow-green because that's kind of underneath. And having that yellow on a painting just always seems to set off the painting. And I've learned that most pictures do well to have some yellow in them. Now, I know that the stencil that I'm using for the focal image is quite ornate, and I do not want a big, busy background. So I want to keep it small scale. So I'm stamping with the turquoise paint with my script stamp here. I'm just rubbing it on with the makeup sponge and then stamping. And I didn't want to go black. I just wanted a little bit of something something. So it's kind of tone on tone. In some places you can't quite see it. Now, when you use a stamp and stamp into wet acrylic, some people will shudder. The card makers will shudder at the thought of that. As long as you spray it with your Murphy's Oil soap mixture and clean it right away, you're okay. All I use my stamps for is mixed media, so I'm good. I showed quickly there a picture of my stamp storage, and I'll put a link to that video. I'm loving how I am now storing my stamps. It's working so well. So this one is dots, and it's a stupendous one. And this stamp, as well as the script stamp and other products, are in the description box below in the affiliate links. Full disclosure, I do get a commission, but you do not pay more. Now I'm using one of my favorite mark making tools. This is my shelf liner, and it's these tiny dots, and I'm just dabbing it into white acrylic paint that I've spread on my craft mat, and then I'm putting that on. So a very quick, simple background. Now here is the stencil, Quadrangle Fan. It is absolutely lovely. And when I stenciled it on, the bigger one with just some leftover paint, I just knew I needed to create with it. But it's too large for my 7x10 mixed media book, so I went to the smaller 6x6 stencil. And because I wasn't sure where I wanted it and how I wanted it, I stenciled 3 of them out on just copy paper, roughly cut it out, and then I can play with the orientation. Now I can keep these and do the same thing to set up orientation on another one, or I can actually end up using these as a collage item on a future project. So it will go into my filing system. So I want to add some texture. So what I'm adding texture with is modeling paste, but not just any kind of modeling paste. This is the Crafters Workshop, and it's clear modeling paste, which means that when you add a color to it, the color stays true. And while it looks cloudy right now, it will dry clear. So I mixed it here with Prussian blue. It stays pure Prussian blue color. Whereas if you mix it with regular modeling paste, because that's white, that will change the color, will make it a little more pastel-y, a little lighter. I'm applying this through the stencil with a palette. And I'm going to do the right side right now, and then I'm going to switch to the left side because there's room and there's no overlap or no chance of me mucking up this while it's wet. and I don't have to sit and wait and dry in between all of them. Now, because some of the medium gets underneath and I want to keep it clean, I am scraping off the excess, spraying it with my Murphy's oil soap mixture, and cleaning the stencil. And when you put modeling paste through a stencil, you really do need to clean it right away. If it dries on there, it will wreck the stencil. This on this side is acrylic paint. That you can leave on there to dry. And I'll put a link to my bulk cleaning of stencils, the fastest, quickest way I know how. So you saw me do the right side. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. And both can dry. Because if you're anything like me, waiting for something to dry, it just seems to take forever. Now, while the two sides are drying, I did take the modeling paste mixture and I put it in a container and put a lid on it just so that it would not dry out. And in the short term, the modeling paste stayed perfectly great. I did have some extra left over, and I'm going to keep that overnight or for a couple days and see how long it lasts. I don't know that once you mix paint with it, what happens. So I'll report back on a future video. So now that both sides are done, dried, I am putting in the middle one. So again, I play with the stenciled piece, get the right placement, and now I'm just putting on the modeling paste the same exact way as you saw me do on the left and the right. Often I don't use a palette knife. I use a key card to put on modeling paste, and that works very well. So if you're struggling with modeling paste, try it with a key card. So there's the excess, and I'm going to see how long that lasts. Now I'm using my woodless charcoal pencil here, and I'm just going to shade around the outside. I'm going to frame this picture, this page. And this is one of the quickest ways. I could float acrylic, I could use my Stabilo all pencil, but I think one of my favorite ways is using the woodless charcoal pencil. And this is the soft, they come in soft, medium, and hard, and I like this one. So now I need a sentiment. So I got my wooden stamps, the alphabet stamps, which I'm rediscovering and loving, and I stamped it out on paper, and that's giving me an idea of how it's going to fit and will direct me to placement of the letters. I'm not going to be too worried about getting it perfectly straight or perfectly lined. I've kind of let go of that. So this time, instead of using ink, I am using the black acrylic paint. So I dip it into I've spread the acrylic paint onto my glass mat, and then I press into it a couple times, stamp with it, and then I wipe it off on a baby wipe, again to keep my stamps neat and tidy. Now you can see there, it's not perfect. That's okay, because I know I can, if I choose to, go back and darken that up with a gel pen or my fine line bottle. So my finger is just there to where to start the letter. And while I'm attempting to do it so straight, I'm not overly worried about it. At one time I wanted it perfectly straight. I wanted them all perfectly the same color, no gaps. And what that led to is me not using the alphabet stamps. But here, I could have stamped this out on paper, cut out the paper, or printed it off on with my computer, with my printer, and glued it down with the white background like you see me doing. And that's an option if you don't have alphabet stamps. Use what you have. The effect is going to be a little bit different, and that's okay. one of the things that I like to do is give you options of doing it differently. So if you have some alphabet stamps, dig them out. Give it a try. Revisit it. And if you're quick, you can get in there and use a baby wipe and get it out. And that T, OMG, it gave me a hard time. I don't know how many times I stamped and redid it, and stamped and redid it, and stamped and redid it. It just didn't seem, I don't know if it was the angle. I think I was rushing. It was dinner time and I needed to get going and getting it ready. And I could have edited that out, but I thought everybody deserves a good laugh. So I did eventually get it done. Now it's later in the day, evening has come and the sun has disappeared. Take off the masking tape that keeps that edge crisp. And I've decided that I am going to use my Sakura Glaze gel pen and darken these letters. Now, by using the Sakura Glaze as opposed to um, a pit pen, this is dimensional and dries glossy. So it gives that extra something something. I love these pens. They are amazing. I did go back after this was dry and try to add some white highlights on the letters. It's something I need to practice. I've been seeing other people doing it and really like the effect. I haven't perfected it yet, so I wiped it off and this is good for now. So no sense in you. There you can see I'm taking off the white. And again, that white, when it's dry, like overnight, is permanent. But if I put it on right now on the paper, I can take it off with a baby wipe rather quickly. I want a little more darkness, a little more black around the edges. So I'm going back in and making it just that little bit darker. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check to see that when you click on the bell, that you're going to be notified of upcoming videos. That way you won't miss any. I absolutely love this page. Love, love, love that stencil. You'll see that showing up again in other ways. Here are some close-ups. Give me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. See you soon.